All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of NDICE. It is me and Dave, and Dave's voice is gone due to a sickness, so he's going to chime in when he can. Ian is unavailable, working right now, so we're going to recap some of last weekend's series against Western, and then go into talking about the playoffs coming up here. So, yeah, excited to get going here. I'll do a little weekend recaps. For me myself, I don't know. I really didn't do too much. Kind of just watched the games on TV. I had a formal on Friday, but that was pretty much about it. Nothing too out of the ordinary. All in all, though, not a bad weekend. Good to see UND execute and get a win, and then eventually take it to OT on Saturday. So, Dave, you can try your best, but what did you get up to?
Yeah, I just watched the games. Jeez, this is awful. I watched the games and then I went home. I watched Friday, went home on Saturday, hung out with a buddy for his birthday, and then we watched the game at the bar and then came home on Sunday and then I got sick. So that's why I sound like shit. So
Yeah.
that's
No,
pretty much
that'll
it.
do it. That'll do it. We'll kind of hop right into it here. Friday night, UND beat Western 5-3, won the Penrose Cup. Scoring coming all over the board. A lot of the young guys were really contributing. Sam Larilla got UND on 4 minutes and 40 seconds in from Strinden and Reshny. And then Western tied it up pretty quickly there. Liam Valente from Whitelaw and Michaels. And then Ollie to end the first period off got one from Liver and Kroll. So a pretty good start for UND. I think that's something we talked about, getting those scoring right away, and especially against a team like Western Michigan. I think that was something that was really important that they needed to do. In the second period, 8-10 in, Zach Bookman tied it up for Western Michigan from Eero Haikarainen. I'm gonna blow
That
the
was right. That was
yeah,
right.
and then Samuel Scholand. Um, and then UND once again, right back to it. Zakreski, who's been playing really good. Very impressed. I honestly wasn't sure how much he was going to play when he came back, but he's literally, well, this is points in back-to-back weekends now. He's looked really good. They've inserted him right into the lineup, and he looks like he's ready for the playoffs. I've been really impressed with him. He got UND back up 3-2 from Mangini and Weeb. Abram Weem, NCHC defenseman of the month, by the way, too. So congrats to him. And then third period, Zellers with a goal to make it. What was this at this point? 4-2 from Rick Wood and Emery. And then Zachariah Wisdom from Western made it a little interesting, made it 4-3 from Whitelaw and Bookman. And then Max Swanson, 20 seconds left in the game from Reshny, iced it 5-3. UND won the Penrose. I think it was just a good effort. You go to Kalamazoo, you put up 5 goals. That's something UND we kind of talked about. We were a little nervous with Slakinski in that because he's just been so rock solid right this year, or at least in the second half specifically. And UND went in and they put up 5. They only let up 3, which I think against a good team like Western is good, especially considering this was in Lawson too. So I was impressed just with that effort. And it was good to see them just lock up that Penrose on Friday night in regulation. Dave, did you have any other thoughts just about Friday night in general you wanted to add?
I don't know about Friday, but I'd say the weekend as a whole. I think going into this weekend, we obviously knew it was the hardest battle from UND thus far in the season. And kind of it would tell a lot about how UND could compete in the NCAA tournament in the next coming weeks. And I think it was on almost full display where you could really tell that UND was just wearing down teams. Western just looked really tired in the third periods, and UND kept them. I don't know if you'd say on their heels, like uh, on Friday they obviously Western was down by 2 goals in the third, and I just was really impressed, and that was one of the. Not that we shouldn't have thought that UND was already really really good, but it kind of like solidified it for me that this team can compete with anybody. So
Yeah, and really just the emphasis on doing it at Western Michigan and just the way they won that game. It was playoff hockey and it was really impressive. And then Saturday's a little more interesting. UND did end up losing that 4-3 in overtime. We'll jump into that right here. Liam Valente, once again, he started off the scoring for Western. 3 minutes into the game. But then once again, UND with a quick response from their freshman, David Klee, tying it up from Kernan and Larilla. And this is something I think is really positive note about the weekend, that UND's freshmen stepped up against a really good team. So I think that's once again just something you like to see, and it's really going to pay dividends in the postseason. Then Western went back up. Sam Huck in the second period from Calbeck and oh man, I'm going to botch Garrett Sadolski's last name. Apologies if I got that wrong. And then UND once again, just the quick responses. Ben Strinden from Swanson and Verhoff. Good to see Verhoff getting some racking some points back up. Third period, William Whitelaw, who's been really good for Western, makes it 3-2 UN or Western from Slakinski and Bookman. Bookman was having a pretty good weekend. And then once again, Uni does what it likes to do in the third period. They tied it up. Cole Reshny from Verhoff and Strinden. And it's just once again, it's a testament to how good this team is in the third period. They're coming back every time. And I think something we should note for the viewers, there's a lot of people disappointed he lost, blah, blah. They did not play without Livanovich, Smolik, and Zakreski didn't dress either, I believe. Let me check. Yeah, Zakreski did not dress. So UND essentially did what they did against Western Michigan. And by the way, Western Michigan doesn't get swept at home. Not like that doesn't happen. They did that on the road. They went to OT. I thought UND, and Dave, you can talk about this a little bit. I thought they pretty much dominated overtime, or they looked better, the better team, which I that didn't doesn't shock me at all. And then Owen Michaels, rushing back the other way, toss or not Owen Michaels, Sholin rushing back the other way, tosses one on net, and it literally Zellers makes a good effort to hustle back, play defense, but it goes off his stick, is what the initial report I read at least was. And Western ends up winning 4-3 in OT, which obviously you always want to get the win, but a road overtime loss is pretty much the equivalent of a lie. And as I stated, UND was down multiple players that play integral roles in their lineup, and everyone else stepped up. I've just been super impressed. Like David Klee stepping into the lineup, scoring. You're just getting good play all over the board here, and I just it's so impressive to see what's going on. And they started a homer the Saturday night too, and I thought he made some good saves, had a really good game as well. So, yeah, Dave, did you have any other takeaways from Saturday or just the weekend in general? Oh, you're muted. You're muted, or at least I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, guys. UND, I agree with you. I think UND outplayed Western a little bit in that overtime, and I know I think that's probably the last game of the season that's 3-on-3 overtime eligible. I don't know what the NCHC rules are in the quarterfinals, but that's the fourth time UND's lost in overtime this year. They're 2-4 in overtimes, and usually that's not usually typical of UND. Usually UND has a good record in the overtime. So uh, interesting. I don't. It's hard to ask yourself how is this going to affect overtime in the NCAA tournament because it's 5-on-5. It's not really the same. So I don't think UND needs to be super weary about it, but you got to kind of look at it and wonder why we're losing. I guess it's just breaks either team and someone's going to score. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I really just think it comes down to the 3-on-3 aspect, which is
Yeah.
not my favorite way to determine how games ends. It's honestly the same, probably the same deal with the Olympics. I mean, if that game goes to 5-on-5 in the Olympic overtime, I bet Canada probably wins.
Mm.
Because and we can that's a whole other tangent to get into. But luckily, 5-on-5 is what is played in the tournament, and I think that's really what matters. But just the fact that UND was able to tie it up again, they're getting scoring from all over, which I think shows they put up 3 goals both nights in Western Michigan. I don't know how many teams have done that this year. So that's just a testament to their abilities and their skills. And I don't know, it was just really impressed. I was really impressed on the weekend. I didn't think UND would necessarily get swept at Western, but at the same time, I was like, well, you never know because Western's hungry. They can win the Penrose. They don't want to lose in their own building. and UND kind of just goes in there and takes care of business. And it was just a overall impressive weekend in general. So yeah, I mean, kind of looking around the country too, what else is going on? Not pairwise, MPI change. Michigan at one, Michigan State, UND, and Western are the top four right now. Just kind of previewing that, and from what's been read online, I think it's UND has a 90%, 98% chance of being a one seed. So they should finish in the top four, barring, I would assume that they'd have to get eliminated this weekend, I think would be that's probably the only chance they'd have it moving out, and still even then, I don't know. So UND's sitting well. If it's a long way to the regional, but they want to get to Sioux Falls. The higher up, the better chance they have, I think, is what it comes down to. So that's exciting. But we'll hop into this weekend's upcoming series against Omaha. Omaha, UND's already played them this season. It went pretty well for UND in the first matchup in November. They beat them 7-2 and 4-1. And then in the next one in December, they played them both right away at the start of the year, which I don't, UND is not really used to doing. So, of course, it's
Hmm.
fitting that now they finally get to play them at the end of the year. And then UND beat them at the Ralph 4-1 and 3-1 in both those series. I just remember just taking away from that initial series, Omaha did not look good. They looked awful. I'm gonna pull up their stats right now. I don't know if you want to elaborate or if you have anything to say about that, Dave. They were just the most least. I
Yeah,
honestly thought they might have been the worst team in the NCHC. They did not look good.
I'm surprised they made it over ASU, honestly. Yeah, I mean, this is the third time in 4 years UND's playing Omaha in the quarterfinals of the NCHC tournament, and they went the last two times they played them. They went. Oh, this is the fourth year that they'll be playing in 5 years, I think. But um, no, it'd be the fourth time in a row, fourth year in a row they're playing in the NCHC tournament. But the third time in 4 years that they're doing it in the quarterfinals, and UND beat Omaha both the other times. The first series in 22, 23. Omaha won the first one. UND's won the next two straight. Beat them in the semifinals in 2024, and then UND beat them last year. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Omaha obviously thinks they find us as a rival, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. No, we'll get into score predictions in a bit here, but just it's it's funny how I just feel like UND and Omaha are they always just gravitate to each other no matter where they finish.
Hmm.
They're always playing each other. I can kind of see why Omaha fans have attached that rivalry to UND because I mean we're projecting a sweep this weekend. That's should be the obvious call. But if I'm an Omaha fan, I would be so tired of North Dakota just beating us every single year. And then when they host them at home, we come and they still beat them. It's like that's got to be
Hmm.
exhausting to a certain point. And I
It
just
used
go ahead.
it used to be pretty level. Like Omaha would come and beat us on like a senior night, or
Right.
we'd go to Omaha and they'd win a game. So ever since that quarterfinal in 22, 23, it's kind of shifted a little bit. But yeah, Omaha's had some good teams the last couple of years, but not really this year.
They Yeah, if there's a year where they're gonna want to get over the hump, I don't know if that's this year. Never
No.
say never, of course. Say that now, and then they'll come in and surprise everyone. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it was I think it was a tough season for them, Omaha in general. But I think they were happy and they were able to rally into the playoffs. And if UND fans think they're not going to bring it, like I said to them, this is a rivalry, and there was nothing more that they would love to do than to just stick it to UND, especially in the playoffs. And if I'm North Dakota, you just got to stick to your game plan, play smart. The biggest thing I'd worry about is just like don't piss them off because you don't want them to take dirty runs at your guys and all of a sudden we have someone go down for the next series because that's how
Mm.
the NCHC is usually pretty good about that. Guys aren't dirty necessarily, but like I would just hate to see, UND blow them up back-to-back nights, and then one of their players, pissed off, has nothing to lose, goes and just dumps a guy into the corner, and then he's out for the rest of the season. Like that's the kind of stuff. It's crazy that you have to talk about that, but I mean, you really never know what to expect from these teams that are playing, that are desperate and playing for literally everything. Everything's on the line right now. It's elimination pretty much for most of the teams that UND will face going forward. Um, so it's going to be an
Hmm.
exciting series. I'm trying to think of I had some other notes written down, but we already kind of talked about them. I don't know. Do you have anything else to add, Dave?
Mm-mm. Not really.
No? All right. We'll kind of just looking around the country this weekend. What's coming up? The Big Ten closing out their regular season. We were kind of talking about this in our group chat, so I kind of wanted to highlight this a little bit. Minnesota is they're an interesting team right now. They're sitting in the back, sitting kind of the at the bottom. They're at the bottom, but they've managed to pull off a few impressive wins here. Dave, I just want to kind of you can ask. I'll ask you just a quick question here. Do you think Minnesota gets a game against Michigan State?
Mm. Yeah, that's a good question. I think I didn't watch the Michigan Minnesota game from last weekend, so but obviously Minnesota's beaten some good teams. They beat us on Saturday here, and they beat Wisconsin at home. They swept Wisconsin at home, and obviously they beat Michigan last weekend. Was that in Yost or was that at Mariucci? Do you see?
Let me go look. Let's see. That was. Oh, come on, Papa. Oh, yeah, it was on a Thursday, Friday. It was in Yost, yeah.
And does Minnesota go to Michigan State this weekend, or are they at home?
I'm pulling that up right now. They will be at Mariucci, so
I definitely think they could, especially with
mhm.
how it's gonna be tight. I don't think it'll happen on Friday. I think it's a Saturday thing. I think Michigan State's after their performance last weekend against Ohio State. I think they're gonna have some fire under their ass going into that Friday or whatever
Yeah.
day they play on. I don't know if they play on Thursday or Friday, but
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. Yeah. It's interesting too. I'm looking at the Big Ten schedule right now, and Michigan, they have this weekend off. It looks like they play Simon Fraser in exhibition. I don't know how you
mm,
get up for that game. That I guess I get the idea there, keep them sharp, but I don't know. That's interesting. That's really just interesting to me. But yeah, no, anyway, a lot of interesting things can happen here. Like we said, UND's they're sitting really nice in the MPI right now. And if they want to continue to stay up there, and UND fans, nothing's guaranteed, but if you want UND to get to Sioux Falls, get to the Ralph this week and pack it, cheer. Every game matters because another thing that we haven't really talked about is that UND can literally play their next three series at home, or they will play they can play, if they continue to win, they'll play the next two at home, one game apiece for the semis and championship if they make it. And then if they get lucky, they go to Sioux Falls, which I think we all kind of can assume will be a de facto UND home game because like that's just UND
mm,
fans love to travel, and Sioux Falls is a very easy city to travel to
very
for a lot of
doable.
UND fans. And then you got the Vegas destination for the Frozen Four. So there is a really good potential that UND can be playing as long that's just the thing. If they keep winning, it's perfect. Like it gets better for them every time. It's going to be like continuing playing at home, which is such an advantage for them. And I think too, yeah, it's exciting. This is my favorite time of the year. It's I wish we could just fast forward through these next few series and just get to the actual playoffs. I know these are important, but I just get it's so exciting to be finally at playoff time. I actually can't believe it's here. But
Hmm.
yeah, should we do some score predictions here?
Sure.
Hop in. All right. I'll go first. I'll do UND 4-2 win on Friday. And then Saturday 5-1. I think they're just gonna bring the hammer, and I think if UND wins on Friday too, Omaha knows they're not gonna win on Saturday. Their season they'll know their season's done.
Hmm.
I don't see Gabinet being able to rally them to victory. You never know, but that's there's some teams that they just know their season's done and they're like they check out for that Saturday night game. We've seen that happen with Miami multiple years.
Hmm.
They've come here too. So yeah, Dave, what do you got?
I think you're spot on there. I'm gonna go 4-2 on Friday, and then I'll just make it different. I'll do 3-1 on Saturday.
3-1 on Saturday. Okay, I
Mm.
like it. Yeah. Conference. One last thing I let's hit on before we end this off here. Conference awards. Kind of a tough topic because I don't have the NCHC stats pulled up here. I probably should get those up. But Dave, is there any guys in particular that you think stand out or should make certain teams? I think you could. I think Reshny's probably locked in as the NCHC Rookie of the Year.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I
what
would
do you look like?
say
I don't know.
hmm. Reshny. I think the rookie class is going to be pretty heavily UND.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know if I assume Johnny Hicks will get maybe rookie goaltender of the year,
I think so.
especially with how Schoonar is kind of decreased in efficiency over the last 2 months or so. Um, I put Reshny on that team. I'd put Verhoff and Zellers on that team at least. Uh, wait, is Zellers a center?
Yeah. Don't they just do they just all forwards?
Total.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'd put Reshny, Zellers, Verhoff on that team. And then
Okay.
Johnny Hicks and I don't know. There's got to be some other good freshman out there. I'd say Miami's freshman. I don't know how he's doing, but he was doing really well. The
Hmm.
forward.
Yeah,
Um,
Mrazov. They Miami's or deputies. You have freshmen too. They have a
no,
few guys that
I
are.
don't think he's a freshman. He's a sophomore.
He's a sophomore. Yeah, they have a few guys who have really been who
Hmm.
play well. Yeah, well, there's a lot can happen with the awards. I really am curious to see what goes on there.
Let's say Reckwood's going to be on one of the teams, second or first.
I would imagine he.
Strinden might be on there too.
Yeah,
But Rickwood has the better point per game average, I believe. So,
correct.
yeah.
You got to imagine Weeb or Livanovich are on. I that there's no way one of them doesn't make the first team. Pole camp, and then is it
Maybe Weeb,
or Weeb? I just don't see. I don't know who you choose over. I mean, there's a lot of good D in the NCHC, so I don't know, but um, yeah. Lastly, we'll just check out some of the other matchups in the NCHC this weekend. It's gonna be an exciting one. UND and Omaha obviously play, and then Western and CC. I You probably pick Western to take the cake there. Although CC can be, if CC won a game, that wouldn't surprise me. They're sneaky like that. They're like to have fun. This is the series that interests me. They're all interesting. Minnesota, Duluth, and St. Cloud State. So right now, I
They
read
always
this on
play.
in Matt Wellens' blog, I believe, or Matt Wellens' story. I think Duluth is like a 98% chance to make the tournament. So that means they're pretty much in. What seed that is that we don't know, but they're in.
Mm.
St. Cloud sitting on the outside at 25. It's win or go home here. That's gonna be a dogfight. I'm excited to watch that, or at least um that could be a 3 game series. I think
Yeah.
Duluth probably takes the cake because it's at Amsoil, but I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, Dave?
Yeah, I think I remember St. Cloud State and Duluth playing quite a bit in this quarterfinal match at the last couple of years. I'd say like I think 22, 23, and then maybe 24. No, yeah, maybe. I know that they've played in the quarterfinals. There was 2 years in a row that they played, and one was up in Duluth, one was in St. Cloud, I think. And then each team traded both times where they one went and one didn't, I think. But yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. It'll be an interesting one. That'll be definitely be the yeah, I'm gonna pick Duluth on that. I don't know actually. Yeah, I'd pick Duluth. Sorry, guys.
It's tough
Duluth.
to know because it's it's so tight. It's gonna we talk about it, you talk about it a lot, Dave. It's gonna come down to the goaltending. I mean, both these lines have they're two very top heavy teams. You got the Plant line, and then you got the Gross Hall Bernovic line. So I mean, it's gonna be yeah, that's exciting. that could be a 3 game series. I would love to watch a third game of that on Sunday. That'd be interesting.
Right. That would be cool.
And then lastly, we got Denver and Miami facing off. You probably pick Denver to win. It's at Magnus. But again, Miami's they're not this ain't the old Miami that you can just walk through anymore. They're capable of making it interesting. I'm still probably picking my Denver, but
Right.
Noreen's got something cooking there, and you never know what could happen. So I don't know if you had any other thoughts on that, Dave, but
Miami's scary.
it's the best way to put them. I mean, what
Hmm.
UND last time they played only beat them 1-0, so it's like
Sorry, I wouldn't say they're scary. I'd say they're spooky.
they're spooky. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's it's definitely yeah, it's a I could see multiple games going to I wouldn't multiple. I could see matchups going to Sunday. At least okay, well I'll put it at this, Dave.
I
Over
could see
under.
two.
You see, oh, so 1.5's the line. You taking the over two going to Sunday, two matchups.
Yeah, I am. I am.
I like that.
What about you?
I don't know. It's so tricky. I'm UND sweep, Western, those are sweeps.
You don't think
Ooh,
CC steals one? They stole one from Western a couple weeks ago.
they could. Western, yeah, I don't know.
The odds are in our favor, I think. My favor, I guess, since you didn't know if you're taking it or not.
I'm gonna go. I'll go under. I'll be fun. I'll say under. At least one team, one series I'll go over. Um, Honestly, I think a lot of it's like I said, gonna come down to who wins on Friday.
Hmm.
I think if Western wins on Friday, Denver wins on Friday, obviously UND. Uh, I really just think those series are wrapped up. That St. Cloud Duluth one's a little more interesting, but same thing there. If Duluth wins on Friday, it could be wrapped. So I don't know. It's going to be a fun weekend. Tournament time is here. Start paying attention because this is every game counts. Well, every game always counts, but every game really matters. And especially on that bubble, the MPI is just so tight right now. And if UND, like I said, I don't know what teams necessarily you want to cheer for, but UND is going to want other teams to win that pushes their stock up and pushes them farther up. And then again, that comes down to the guys in the locker room and the coaching staff would tell you they never want to rely on other teams, but at the end of the day, it's got to come down to the boys, how they play, execute against Omaha, and then just essentially see what happens. So I'm excited. It's gonna be a good, entertaining weekend of hockey. Outside of hockey, Summit League basketball going on. Denver and UND play on Friday night. I think they're the late game, and usually, I always remember they usually always do this. They usually throw it on at the Ralph, at least the second half, or at least at the end of the hockey game. So hopefully UND basketball can get cooking and do something there.
Right. Had a
So.
lot of good teams.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say a lot, but they've had a couple that look like they can go the distance and then just never do. But maybe this year will be different.
Yeah, no, I'm curious to see what'll happen there. It'll be Denver basketball is really pretty hot. They got Carson Johnson, the best player in the Summit League. So we'll see what happens with that. That being said, Dave, am I missing anything? Anything else you want to add in? Any news?
Just say thank you to the people.
Thank you, people. No, seriously, thank you everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it as always. Either way, we'll see you guys next weekend. I'm excited. Hopefully, UND is move up in the MPI. You never know what can
Yeah.
happen, and there could be chaos. This is when the chaos begins. So
Pray for
there's
me.
gonna be there'll be new stuff to talk about, and pray for Dave so he feels better, and maybe Ian will make a return next weekend. So
Yeah, hopefully.
all right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in, and yeah, we appreciate the support as always.